Not too often that I talk about cases that have happy endings here on my page, but today is one of those times. In 1969, 22-year-old Otto Hein was an Austrian-born man living in Menzies, Western Australia. It is an extremely remote town in Australia that had a population of 108 people as of 2016. So after Otto went into town and told his employer he was just picking up some mail and never returned, people thought maybe he succumbed to the wilderness. Sometime later, on May 24th, his vehicle was found abandoned with no trace of Otto inside. This led everyone to fear the worst, that there was some form of foul play at hand. Just 6 days later, a man was arrested for killing a hitchhiker that he picked up. Police thought maybe this was their man, and they questioned him in regards to Otto's disappearance, but nothing ever came of it. And that was it. For 5 decades, police and all of Australia had no idea where Otto Hein was. He was considered just one of many unfortunate people who disappeared in the Goldfields area and have not been found. That is, until quite recently. You see, Otto never fell into harm's way at all. He actually had a habit of disappearing quite often in the 60s and 70s, according to his family. And so one day he just decided he didn't want to live in Australia anymore. He was actually stopped by police in his car just 2 days after his employer last saw him, but he gave police a false name because he didn't have a license and was scared he'd get in trouble. From there, he traveled on to Italy. He moved to Palermo in Sicily and has lived there for the past 50 years. Police were able to FaceTime him and confirm that although he has aged 50 years, it is the same person. He had such a habit of wandering around that he only decided to settle down when he met his wife. I guess things were just different in 60s, 70s hitchhiker float around freely culture. It would be much harder to leave the country without there being some trace of you. What are your thoughts on this case? It's pretty nice to hear a happy ending to a missing persons case, even if he wasn't really missing in the first place.